Good morning, wonderful people. A quick screen share for you today. Why is failure never happening to you no matter what? Just talk about failure for a bit, as it is taught to us right from the time when we were children. You have failed in this area, you have failed in that, you have failed to score grades, you are a failure. You have failed to pass the test, you have failed to be good in sports, you have failed to be a good child, a boy or a girl, you failed to achieve something. All goes to childhood wounds, right? You take it back to your childhood. All of us have been told that this at some point or the other. Okay, so what are the talking points for this? Number one, the teaching. Failure is a construct of what we are taught. Now, if you don't know what constructs is, go to my previous letter if you're on LinkedIn. Through our upbringing, institutions, education, religion, etc. What's the difference between what we are taught and what is the reality? You have to learn that first, reality, folks. We can't be in a dream world. You can't be in a hypnotic world, in a spell, as it has been taught to us right from the time we are born. You're taught this idea of failure. There exists no such thing in reality. Think of that for a minute, and if you want to compare it, you can always compare yourself to nature. Does a pigeon think it's a failure? Does a cat or a dog think it's a failure if you have pets? Does the tree feel it's a failure? No, this exists only in the twisted and broken world of human beings. It doesn't exist in nature, so it doesn't exist in reality. Compare it to that. So failure is basically a comparison to whatever is being practiced around us. It's a norm, it's a way of functioning in the society. It's a measuring yardstick with whatever is the established norm, a rule, a procedure, or etc. etc. If you're functioning in any institution or corporation, even in your school, even in your college, in your company, in your banks, in your government, wherever it is. Number two, you're alive. Therefore, you are successful today. That's where I come from. Okay, I'm offering you a different perspective on this. If you're alive, if you're breathing, if you got all your bits and joints and bones intact, and you got some food to eat, you are successful. From the time you wake up till the time you go to bed, you are successful. Why? Because you're still living that which you call your life. That's the real measurement. This is another measurement yardstick you can use if you want to feel successful daily. Which would you rather feel, successful today or successful 20 years from now on, when you're old and toothless and 60-year-old? Okay, people think of retiring and they'll be happy. You're never going to do that. You're going to be happy only in the now, in the today. Why? Because you're living and breathing. You can still do things. You can still act on things. You can measure your own self with your own yardsticks. You can create your own success criteria in the world to function from. That's success. That's never a failure. Please understand this from this perspective. So then you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, what is it that I would like to do today? Not to please someone, not to please a boss, not to worry about this and that endlessly. There's no pleasing anyone. Okay, I'm not coming from that angle here. No pleasing society, no pleasing companies, no pleasing friends, not all the yada yada. This will be the biggest battle you will have, you versus the rest of the world. How to do this? You have a very powerful sense of individuality, and you need to bring that forth into the world. See how much power that individuality can have, and see how much resistance this whole talk of mine so far is bringing. It is even creating a thing like, nah, this is too idealistic, this can't work for me. That's your mind chatter. That's the amount of times you have been told you're a failure, by the way. Number three, measurement with anything external is neither original nor required. This is the third thing you have to understand. Okay, this is your catalyst for change. Why? Because only when you're comparing yourself to whatever is going around you today are you feeling that sense of failure. Oh, I didn't achieve this, or I didn't get that report right, or I'm not getting good grades, or whatever it is. Social measurement. Why is this measurement not required? Why is the measurement with respect to social norms of a company and institution not required? Well, first of all, because you're an original yourself. You can always create and recreate and reevaluate, reform anything that is around you, including your own personal life to begin with, then your company and everybody else. First, do it with yourself, always. Maybe you haven't shown the original part of you, You haven't been shown the original part of you. So how do you access that original part? So you sit quietly, empty your mind, and listen to your empty mind more and more. Because mind is like that vacuum. Nature abhors vacuum. It will never allow your mind to be empty of something. So the moment you empty it, something will fill it up. Watch for that something. Is that something feeling light, or is it feeling heavy? Is it empowering to you? Is it giving you some positive sense of aha or an epiphany? Go for it. If not, ignore it. Move on to the next. So you keep doing this stuff in a dynamic way. You understand? Back to point number 3. The measurement is taking place in all institutions, whatever you have been taught, merely from the point of view of a perception or a valid argument that was valid for some time. See, we all create ideas as human beings and we make it institutionalized and we try to follow that because it works. Everything works, but it has a limited time. This yardstick of measurement is relevant only from the time it was created to solve a particular issue or a problem at hand. And that's all there is to it. You can't stretch it forever. No idea, creation or concept has an eternal lifetime. Everything has a time validity. New human beings, new generation will come and throw it out and promptly create the new one. This is the way it has been going on all along. Right now what is happening in 2022 is we are living outdated concepts that are no longer relevant to the times we are in now. So we need to change and become relevant to the times we are in now. We are changing as a human civilization. Society is always changing. You are always changing. All structures that you create as your thought forms, as your belief structures, your ideas of what you think is right and wrong, good or bad, is also changing to the times which are relevant. So you have to change with it. It's like a flowing river. When it changes as an individual, you change as an individual, and whatever you thought of before, let's say when you were a teen or a kid, is no longer relevant now. See, you yourself have changed the structure of your own pattern or your habits or whatever it is. So where's the question of any success or failure there? You're not continuously battling failures, you're continuously shifting, you're continuously changing. That's the truth. Reality, not hypnotism. Number 4, someone uses the word failure against you simply means you are good at something else. Means whatever you're doing is not correct for you, or you're in the wrong company or in situation or institution, or you're with the wrong company, wrong set of people. You need to spend time discovering what it is. Where is it that your life is kind of going in the wrong direction? Also, you need to find out where you shine, which brings you joy, exuberance, happiness. That's what true success means in your personal terms. Not a measured yardstick by others, but what it means to you. This is what you need to spend time more investigating, and you can do that using even esoteric science like astrology, which is very useful in my experience at least, in knowing who you are, what you would be good at, and if you want to stretch this concept of when is the right time for me to do what exactly in the world. The reason I bring astrology, ascendant, rising sign and constellation and all the planets which are hanging out in your constellations is you can use this, the practical part of it. Unfortunately, even there's a lot of BS in astrology, by the way. All the programming and wrong things that you have been told you are wrong, where we'll uncover the pile of dust sitting on top of all your true talents. How will you uncover the gem hidden in the haystack of you? You have to get to be honest with yourself to the point where all the dust is removed and you stand at a place where you are self-empowered. You got a pretty good knowledge of tying the loose ends between your astrological chart, whether it is true for you or not, and you're not buying another round of BS in the name of astrology. Remember, there are a lot of BS astrologers out there, so I urge you to be really careful when you go there. Success in this context only means one thing for you. Success by itself should be something that gives you joy. Joy in participating, in doing, in taking action, which makes you feel alive. It makes you feel alive. Joy of being alive, folks. Purposeful being of service, not being subservient. Huge difference between being of service, which is actually joyful for human beings, and being subservient. You're not a slave of anything or anyone. First, get rid of the slavery, especially for Indians. Such a slave mentality even now I see. The reason I say astrology, because very specific, you can't sit and impose talents upon yourself that you inherently do not have, folks. That's not how the system works. If there is a tool, you need to use it and use it wisely. You can't take a hammer and beat upon your vegetable. You're using the wrong tools for the wrong reasons. Okay? Why would you want to miss some tool that is useful? That's where I come from. So don't compare yourself to others or external world. Success only means what it means for you and today. Last point, number 5. It's a reflective universe we live in, folks. What you feel inside, you will take outside. You can only transform both inner and outer worlds by the power you have as an individual. Remember that sentence. The power you have as an individual, not as a mob mentality or psychology. Not I will do this because I have to fit everywhere in the office, or I have to fit in a corporate culture, or I have to fit here and there. By the time you die or retire, that happiness is not going to be there, because everything is going to be ripped off. Yes, that's the truth. Not just your teeth, but your identity will be ripped off. That is never going to happen in a zillion years. You are here as a unique individual, come to shine and be more than you ever thought possible, more than your mind can concoct, or what somebody else had told you you are capable of or not capable of. All this other business will not work. Don't try to recycle your past. That's never a good idea. It's a reflective universe where you can bring in originality from you. In NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, we call it motivational direction. Are you motivated towards people, place, thing, or activity? That's what motivates you. You need to find this out. I put a lot of tests, psychological tests that I carry out. If you want to see my YouTube channel, it's there. In astrology, it's determined by ascendant, nakshatra, and so on. That also I put it in my YouTube channel. There are so many tools available to help you. These hints, these are like clues. You may get clues. What is my soul pointing me towards this lifetime? Follow the clues. You're trying to unravel the puzzle called your life. Get good at this. If that's the only thing you will do in the next 1 year, get good at this. Of course, discovery and action is up to you, my friend, but always remember, you are never, ever a failure. It doesn't matter who or what has ever told you this in your life. Alright, take care, be safe, and be awesome.